Okay. We had a slight mishap. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to make this part two of Clear Blue Radiance for today, Thursday, March the 20th. I had to go on at 1:30 p.m. because I was having some technical issues, and then it finally went through. And in the process of um, getting ready to give a brief meditation, kind of got interrupted and it went off the air. So I'm back, and this is a pre-recorded, and I'm going to teach a little bit from the beginning again, and then I'm going to go into the short channeled creative pathwork meditation that I had written down on paper. Today's topic for Clear Blue Radiance, and I'm the host and originator of the podcast, Brother Francis E. Revels Bay. And you're going to find this pre recorded part two on the Resident Essentials YouTube channel for Resident Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics. The title is Elevate Your Life, Your Consciousness Through Your Heart Center with Unconditional Love. So, what I was teaching earlier, and what's going to be part one that's already there, was that we have to be consciously aware that when we talk about stories from the past, things that happened to us, there's a lot of energy that's embedded in the past. It's like when we study history, right? Or people say his story, right? There's things in the news that went around. If you talk to an elder, such as myself or someone older than me, that experienced, let's say, the Vietnam War, you're going to hear the stories of the Vietnam War from that person, what they experienced, if it was traumatic or not, how they had to get through it. But you're going to hear the emotional pain. You're going to hear about the struggles and the scars. And that could flip the switch inside yourself where you start feeling down. Even the person who's telling the story might relive the pain of that time. And when it's relived, it's like secondhand smoke. It's in your body, it's on your clothes, it's in your head, it's in your heart. You're telling these stories. And I'm not saying you should not share an old story with someone, because maybe that story got you where you are today. But not every lesson that you learned from the past is being utilized today. Sometimes those lessons that you learned from the past, during the past, was only for that time. Whatever decisions that you had to make during that time was only for that time's experiences. So sometimes we have to learn how to let go. One of the things I said in here is it's important to realize that when we are battling the old wounds, like from an old storm, an old battlefield, it can cause us to fall backward. When we fall backward, we fall back into the way we used to think and the way we used to feel, and any pain or hurt or anger that is there, it's still there. And we are reviving it, giving it more life to slide in to this life. We don't want to do that. And so we have to learn, as great healers and metaphysicians say, learn how to forgive ourselves. Now, this is true, especially if you were involved in a narcissistic relationship where the narcissist cut you off from loved ones, friends, associates, made you look like the bad guy, the bad person in the relationship with them, made them feel like they were the victim. And they played the role of being the victim so much around you and around family and friends that your family and friends start to believe the narcissist and say, well, what are you doing? Looking at you, what are you doing? You're creating a problem. That's what the narcissist wants. He wants everyone not to believe in you, not to support you, so that they run away. Now you're under that person's finger. You're in that person's web of deception. So, but once you get away, once you get out of it, you've got to bring healing to yourself. What is that healing to yourself? That healing to yourself is to forgive yourself, to shower yourself with unconditional love without judgment. That's what unconditional love is, loving yourself without judgment, forgiving yourself without judgment. We're in human form here, having a human experience, but we are a spiritual essence, a spiritual energy with infinite intelligence and remembrance. But we have to transform, we have to transcend, rise above it to get out of it. We can't keep reliving it. We don't realize. And I try to be as transparent as possible when I teach. I've gone through those things, and sometimes I've seen myself reiterate an old story. I was on the phone during the week with a couple other people, and just got off a phone call with a longtime client and friend of mine. And he happens to be a person that worries. He's a very good-hearted person. He's a military veteran twice. Served in the Marines and the Army. And how did he go back into the military? He was bored. He was used to being told what to do. He didn't have that anymore, so he re-enlisted in another branch of service because he needed to hear those commands. But at the same time, he needed to be able to relate to people that would understand what that is like. He didn't have anybody outside of the military to be able to converse those things, those memories, good, bad, or indifferent. And he's a worrier, and he's a good-hearted person. Sometimes we have to tell ourselves that it's okay to not live in the past anymore. So if we don't get out of the past, then we recreate the past. And that's something we don't need to do. We don't need to recreate problems, issues, hurts, pains. We don't need the ghosts of the past to ruin our present. So while in the present moment, we should forgive ourselves without judgment, not to be angry that we got ourselves involved with a narcissist or domestic violence person or a person with a criminal mind, a felon. We don't have to beat ourselves over the head. Because you see, at the time that we initially did it, at that very first beginning, we thought that was the correct thing to do. We didn't have anybody around to tell us, no, that person's got, mischievous, evil intentions or whatever, controlling personality. We didn't have anybody around to remind us that we need to step away and why. So we have to acknowledge that we did the best that we could do during that time. Own up, we did the best. Of course, we made mistakes, but still at that time, it was the best that we knew to do. Now we can release those memories because those stories no longer serve us. And that's the important thing. Once we realize those old stories, those old memories, old lessons can't serve us now, we got to let it go. So here's what I said in part one as I continued. Constantly repeating an old story pulls your energy down. Constantly repeating an old story, even if there's some sweetness there. But during that time with the sweetness, there was a lot of things that was creating stress and anxiety. So we have to not go down the rabbit hole with it, not fall backwards. Because if we do, we relive the old tension, the old stress, the old anger, the old pain. And our subconscious mind, which runs like the universe, doesn't know the difference between an up or a down, or right or a left. It just knows energy being poured in. And when it sees all that similar energy from the past being poured in, it telegraphs that into the universe to send more of that. Now you're recreating and re-experiencing. So you don't need to repeat the past. Choose to let go. Love yourself more now than you'd ever have done before. Treat yourself with a great deal of respect than you have ever done before. That will help uplift you out of the muck and mire and the sand, the sinking sand of old stories. Your emotions are magnetic in your mind, your thoughts going out are electrical. So the more you put it out around you that, hey, that wasn't a good time and I didn't have such a great time and I feel like it's all caving in on me now. Well, it is because emotionally the frequencies are matching and now you're pulling it back in to the current state of mind. You don't need to relive it. Relive it. Your present moment is unique to you now because it's a time when you can do what? Create new feelings about who you are now. You can create new thoughts about who you desire to be right now in this very moment. And you find yourself being open to new energies that replicate for you an uplifting experience. I mentioned become like an empty chalice. When you become like an empty chalice, chalice like a huge goblet. It could be glass, it could be bronze, it could be gold plated, it could be silver plated. It could have beautiful gems on the outside that represent your achievements and who you are now. But that empty chalice was empty. Why? Before more fresh water goes in, more fresh wine goes in. That's who you are. Wine is wisdom. Water is purification of the mind and the body and the thoughts and the old things. Water, enough water will loosen up old stuff so it becomes what? Flushed out of your system, flushed out of your physical body, flushed out of your emotional, mental, and spiritual body. That new wine is the new wisdom coming into your life that you could drink. You could sip the nectar of wisdom, new wisdom. And what are you sipping upon? The overflow of good feelings, good ideas. You're surrendering to the overflow of goodness, brightness, and intelligence that's already on the inside waiting to emerge, to come forward, to share, for you to participate in. So let us create more joyful events that become joyful memories and joyful remembrances. Create new joyful moments. So you have what? Positive memories and more jovial remembrances. Our heart center. Now, what I'm about to say, I'm saying this to you, I'm reading it out to you, but I want you to receive it like a meditation, a creative pathwork meditations that I do all the time. And I'm going to call it the heart center is a bridge of pure radiance. Take a sip of water or some tea if you need to. Relax. Our heart center is a bridge of pure radiance, supported by the lights of compassion and unconditional love, fueled by the virtues of divine grace. Think of inside the word compassion is the word compass. A compass is something that gives you magnetic north, magnetic direction, because it's connecting off the ley lines in the earth, which are magnetic. So you're opening up to this energy that can be all encompassing. And at the same time, what is being encompassed, encircled, are your passions, so that they train upward and outward at the same time. These passions are like charged particles of light. That's the ion, ion, charged particle of light, where you gain all your sustenance from. You gain all your truths, all your harmonies, all your intelligences from. And it begins to flow back into your life. That's what you want. Flow back into your life. The heart center being the bridge of pure radiance now allows you to have this experience of over trillions of cells releasing the same chord of light, the same streams of light to you. I want you to begin to imagine everything that I've said to this point. I want you to inhale and exhale. Do that 2 more times because it's very, very relevant right now as you pay attention to your deep breathing. The gateway of your beauty and self-love is felt deepest in the deepest core of your trillions of cells. Imagine, go within and begin to create, to envision seeing yourself pulsate, throbbing, see yourself pulsating in all directions, above and beneath as well, front and back, right and left, pulsing. And as you feel as well as see the pulsation of light, of an internal light source, is matching your heartbeat. Your heartbeat is the place of true radiance, radiating more energy and voltage than your brain. This internal light is an infinite power that never goes out, as you are always connected to its true source. And what is its true source? We call it the greater infinite cosmos, the universe. Universal light, we call it the God mind, the heart of God itself. It is the beautiful essence of pure light, of awareness, awakenings, and remembrances of your truth, of your greatest transcendental self. Greatest transcendental self is your higher self. And your higher self is a reflection of the divine infinite I am presence in you, what we call God in you. Your body is replicating that now through all the cells so that you can feel it. The light of your soul burns bright as it begins to shift into the presence of your higher self. And now the higher self in you and around you, embracing you, presents itself as a knowingness of infinite truth. Your higher self, containing infinite truth, holding on to infinite truth, and then expressing itself as an infinite transcendental truth. Allow yourself to breathe and feel the oneness from within. Allow yourself to breathe and just enjoy this moment and allow yourself again to breathe, to inhale and then exhale. And embrace those who are close to you. Embrace those who remember you. Embrace those who are absolutely aware of you and who can see you for who you are. And remember that you are unconditional love. If you'd like more information about Resonant Essentials, Esoteric School of Metaphysics, go to www.resonantessentials.com. That's RESONANTESENTIALS.com. And usually a calendar of events comes up. You can see everything that's going on. We have remote classes. The president of this nonprofit organization is Michelle Vidal, and she's a very good teacher. She wrote a book called Mastering Metaphysics, and now she has courses connected to that book. You need to be there, especially if you live here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Los Ranchos, New Mexico, South Valley, New Mexico, North Valley, on the west side, on the east side. Come to the class. Now, where are these classes located that Michelle is teaching? And I'm there every Saturday, usually from 11:30 in the morning to 12:30 p.m. So where's it located? Resident Essentials, Esoteric School of Metaphysics is located at 2703 Broadbent Parkway, Northeast. And there's a series of buildings in there. There's churches in there. There's industrial things in there. But you ride around when you pull in, if you come off of the Candelaria side, where you turn and go like kind of north, then you go that direction, actually moving south more like. You go that direction, you'll see right at the corner of Candelaria, right there, you're going to see a blue and yellow building, blue, yellow, and gray building, and that's the Days Inn. So you make a left so that the Days Inn is then on your right, and you'll see a sign in less than 3.5 seconds, and it's called Broadbent Parkway or Broadbent Industrial Center. So you're going to turn in there, make a right, and go in. And as you go in, you're going to go straight down. You're going to see something called a craft room. And then you're going to bear to the left. And as you bear to the left, you're going to see a building on the right and buildings on the left and the right. And just as you go a little bit further, if you look to your right, you see a building marked 2703. Pull right into there and go right toward that building and park. And if you get out your car and go to your right, you'll go to Suite J. It'll be inside that building on the left-hand side, Suite J. And you can go right there. We just had a psychic fair there on Sunday, the 9th. We have psychic fairs there from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Free admission every second Sunday. And then you just pay whoever's there, and I'm there as well. So if you want more information about myself, you can go to my website at www.circleofgrace with the number one at the end, right after the word grace. Put the number one .us and then /. You can go to my website or email me and I'll send you the website. Email me at iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. Well, thank you for joining me today. And until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing, as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. I'm usually here broadcasting live every Thursday at about 1 p.m., 1:15 or 1:30 p.m., but I'm in that vibration of the one. So take care of yourself. See you real soon. Bye now.